And by the way, I don't want to brag, but I want to tell William Ruto, you don't know any politics. You know nothing.
Wenyenchi, how are you doing? I hope you are doing fine. I'm also fine. Now, last week, from Monday to around Tuesday, there was a hearing in court. Yeah, the Rigathi Gachagua hearing that is to determine whether his impeachment as deputy president was constitutional or not. And so this hearing comes with a lot of dynamics, yeah, how it will go, yeah, whether if it will clear his impeachment or it will sustain it. Every aspect will have its own result. So I want us to look into this, and actually we are looking into this case with respect to 2027 general elections, because as it stands, Rigathi Gachagua is a major player in 2027 elections, and whichever side he will be, or whichever position he will contest for, if he is cleared, will drastically affect those polls. So I think just a few days ago he was in Masai land and said that he will teach Ruto politics in 2027, next year. And we can't take this lightly. Yeah, maybe he's confident he's going to be cleared and he will run. And so if this is true, it changed the dynamics of the united opposition, or as they call themselves, united alternative government. Let's listen to him in Masai land and what he said before we dive deep into it.
Mimi nimeshangaa. Nimeona William Ruto analia machozi nyumbani pale Bomet. Amekataliwa na Wakenya wote, amerudi nyumbani akiwa na aibu. Watu wanamusikiza pale, wanauliza, kwani ulienda wapi? Unakujaga tu hapa kanisa na matanga, mbona unakuja na machozi? Si uende pale wewe unashidanga? Kasongo amekwama, Mandera, Garissa, Wajir amekataliwa, Magharibi amekataliwa, Mlimani amekataliwa, Wajaluo wamemsoma, wamekataa mambo yake. Amekwama, amerudi nyumbani pale Bomet. Alikuwa analia pale kama mtoto mdogo, anaongea kinyumbani kikalea na lia. Oh, sasa nitafanya nini? Oh, nyinyi mnasema tuta hamuadikishi kura, mimi sasa natembea nikilia. Hawa Kipsigis wanamwangalia, wanamwambia, si urudi pale kwa Wajaluo, si urudi pale Mlimani, unashidaka ukipea watu pesa. Sasa ndio umejua sisi tuko na maana. Hao Wakalejin wanalia kama Wakenya wengine. SHA haifanyi kazi kwa Wakalejin. Barabara hakuna, stima hakuna. William Ruto abandoned his people, the Kalejin, when he abandoned the rest of Kenya. I want to plead with the people of Kenya not to blame the Kalejin community for the mistakes of William Ruto. William Ruto akuwe judged as a person, na makosa yake isibebeshwe jamii ya Wakalejin kwa sababu wameumia kama Wakenya wengine. Siko namna hiyo. Pale Wakale wanalia, wanasema sisi tuandikishe kura ya kazi gani? Wewe hakuna kazi umefanya hapa, unakujaga hapa tu Jumapili, unarudi Kisumu. Tunakaa tunakuona Kiambu. Watu ya Kiambu wanasema hawataki wewe na unashindaga huko. Watu ya Kirinyaga wanasema hawataki wewe na unashindaga huko. Sasa ndio umerudi nyumbani. Saa ile umepata matatizo. And by the way, I don't want to brag, but I want to tell William Ruto, you don't know any politics. You know nothing. I'll teach you politics next year. Si ndio? Wewe ni mtu umesoma mambo ya matawi. Unafikiria unajua mambo mingi sana. Your strength was conmanship and deception. Kenyans have now exposed you as somebody who is deceptive and a conman. You have no other quality ya kudanganya wa Kenya. Mimi nitaungana na Wakenya wenzangu, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Eugene Wamalwa, George Natembea, Martha Karua, Justin Muturi, Cleophas Malala, Senator Ole Seki, Muhammad Ali, another Kenyans of goodwill, Edwin Sifuna, Babu Owino, and
na kama kawa kama dawa. We are going to start with our story. Now, listen. There was a football team that had one goal: beat the defending champions. We can even use Liverpool, that the defending champions this season. So there was a team that had one goal: to beat this Liverpool in brackets. So they formed a super team, big names, big egos, big promises. But there was one problem. The moment their former captain, who had been unfairly benched, got clear to return, everyone started asking, sasa nani atavaa captain's armband? One wanted it because of experience, another wanted because of popularity, another because it's my time. But the time they finished arguing, the match had already started, and the champions, they were just watching, smiling. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Kenya's united opposition right now, waiting for a court ruling. Now, this case is the case that could change 2027. That is, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is no longer fighting to go back to office. He has switched tactics. He wants over 80 million in compensation. He wants the court to declare his impeachment unconstitutional. Then, okay, let's look at the context. Gachagua was impeached in October 2024, and therefore he held that he is the first DP in Kenya's history to be impeached. Supreme Court of Kenya on January 30th, 2026 allowed the High Court case to proceed. Case now is before a 3-judge bench. Hearings was delayed due to judicial scheduling process, which was supposed to be attended by Judge Mrima, who is part of this Gachagua case. So this is not political noise. This is a live constitutional battle. But here's the real bomb. If the court rules Gachagua was impeached unconstitutionally, then politically everything changes. Let's look at scenario 1. Gachagua goes for the presidency. Let's be honest. If he is cleared, do you really think he will just sit quietly behind Kalonzo Musyoka? Hapana. This is a man who was deputy, feels betrayed by William Ruto, and might not give that chance to another person, fearing that he might be betrayed again and again. He still commands influence in Mount Kenya region. If the court vindicates him, he becomes politically reborn, and in Kenyan politics, vindication is equal to momentum. So Gachagua will not say, let me support Kalonzo. He will say, nilitendewa haki, sasa ni zamu yangu. The scenario 2 is the opposition splits immediately. Now imagine this. Gachagua runs, and because Kalonzo has been in this situation before, and we know the outcome, he also runs. Then other players join. What happens? Opposition vote splits, and we've seen this move before. That is 2013 style dynamics, where ego was greater than unity, because Kalonzo wanted to be the presidential candidate for the opposition, and when they did not support him, he decided to do it alone. He might repeat the same. So let's be brutally honest. Kalonzo is currently the most acceptable compromise candidate, but he does not have Mount Kenya numbers, the emotional wave, and the grievance or narrative. Gachagua has all the three. Of course, in Kenyan politics, though uncomfortable, but it is the reality, the tribal map. Kenyan elections are not just about policies, they're about collisions of numbers. So, Gachagua has the backing of Mount Kenya bloc. Kalonzo has the backing of Ukambani bloc. If both run separately, these votes don't add up. On the contrary, they cancel each other out, and the result is that Ruto wins comfortably. Scenario 3 is that Gachagua doesn't run. This can be even worse. Let's flip it. What if Gachagua is cleared but chooses not to run? You think that has unity, but no, it creates another problem. Voter apathy in Mount Kenya, because people will ask, kama alishinda kesi, mbona hagombei? They will feel like they have no dog in that fight. That confusion case turnout. And in elections, low turnout is equals to advantage to the incumbent. Meanwhile, Ruto is watching everything. Recently, and Gachagua has even talked about it, William Ruto raised concern that 3 million voters from Rift Valley are not registered. That's not casual statement. It seems it has an early panic signal, because Ruto understands one thing: 2027 will be about turnout plus unity. Now, this court case is not just about Gachagua. It is about who controls the Mount Kenya political direction. If Gachagua is cleared, he becomes the legitimate voice of grievance, and grievance is powerful, more powerful than manifestos, coalitions, even funding sometimes. Right now, there are two silent battles. Battle 1 is the courtroom battle. Was the impeachment legal? Then we have the political battle. Who owns Mount Kenya? At the moment the court answers the first, it will ignite the second. This is deeper than politics. It's about betrayal, revenge, redemption. Gachagua is not just fighting for money, he's fighting for validation. And once a politician gets that, they don't go quiet, they go louder. If the court clears Gachagua, the opposition will celebrate for one day, then start fighting the next day, because the biggest question will be, who leads? And if that question is not answered quickly, then 2027 will already be decided. If you want deep, sharp, brutally honest Kenyan political analysis, because here in HiiStory, we don't just follow the headlines, we predict the political earthquakes before they happen. Bye.